Hey guys, I'm Morthadon, and we are back for Fire Force Season 3, Episode 1. This is my new airing show. I always have one show that is currently airing. I watch the episodes every week, I release them. I try to get them out as quickly as possible from when the show or the episode releases. Unfortunately, I was busy. In a way, I still kind of am busy, but I fit the time in to be able to record this. I'm apologizing that I didn't get this out a couple days ago. But I will try to get this out right after it airs as soon as I can. But anyway, Fire Force, we're back in it. If you don't know, I did reactions to Season 1 and 2 on my channel. Also, if you don't know, I do timer length format. I have done it for the past seasons. I've done it for every show on my channel. So basically, you need to have your own copy of the episode, which if you're watching a reaction, you probably have already seen the episode. So you take that copy, and when I do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 now countdown, when I say now, you start your episode and you watch along with me. There will be a timer in the corner to help you sync. There will be like 5 seconds, like 15 seconds of the episode in the corner just to help you guys sync up. And then once we're synced up, we watch the whole episode together. I do it because of copyright reasons, and I don't have the time to dance around the copyright rules and constantly re-edit, re-render, and re-upload videos. I'm a small channel, and this is how I chose to do it after dealing with a lot of copyright issues at the start of my channel. There's also a video I have now made that is in the description of all my newer videos that will teach you how to sync up with my videos. So if you want to know how to watch my content, go check that out. Sorry for the long-winded little beginning bit there. But now let's talk about Fire Force, because we have a bit to unpack here. There's so much to this show, there's so much to the mystery behind what's going on that I can't talk forever. But we have the 8 pillars that the evangelist is trying to assemble through their white-clad cronies in order to, what they've said is, turn the earth into a new sun. I have always thought that maybe there was something more nefarious going on, something more, because turning the earth into the sun just makes it sound like it's unhospitable for anyone, so who wins? So, I mean, maybe that is the plan, but I always thought there might have been more. We'll see. How did all this start in the beginning? There's this other, dimension, Adolo, where supposedly some beings are from, like the evangelist, like the woman who was at the tabernacle, and the Yona are the 3 that I think they've hinted are from this other dimension. Are they really from that dimension, or are they just like super powered people and people just think they're from another dimension because how strong they are? I don't know. We don't really have any proof yet, other than we saw the evangelist cross the line during that tabernacle arc. She walked out of that wall, so, but who knows, maybe if your pyrokinesis is strong enough, you can just do that. There's so many mysteries around this show, and I think this is supposed to be the final season, if I am not mistaken, but there are a lot of chapters to unpack, so I've heard there are concerns of how rushed this anime is going to be. So we'll see, but I hope we get enough of the answers. And then, not to mention, there was the Soul Eater reference, which I was like, okay, I think it's the same, studio and maybe the same mangaka that did Soul Eater, because a lot of the art style is the same and everything. I'm sorry for not, I meant to read up on this, but I don't remember the connection between Soul Eater and not, but I believe Maki from Soul Eater, not our Maki best girl in this show, her father showed up in one of the episodes, and I was like, okay, cool, fun little cameo, it's fine. Obviously, that was just a joke. But then at the end, we had the moon look like the Soul Eater moon in, a quick flash when it was, teasing, what's going on, what are they doing, And then it flashed to that, so it's is this supposed to, link into the Soul Eater world then? But then I really wonder how Maki's dad was there, because it seems like this would have been way before everything turned into what the Soul Eater world is like, so I don't know. But either way, we have more to watch, and I'm also sitting on the first frame, which is that moon as well. My paused frame here at the very start of the show is that, so. There's so much more to talk about with this show, but we will talk more in the discussion. I don't want to go too long for this intro, so let's get started here, guys, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Yeah. That's the moon. Oh, shit. Oh, Adola looks even better. Animation was good before, but I rewatched this just like 2 weeks ago, by the way. Probably not even. I probably finished the last episode a week and a half ago. Jeez. Have we ever seen it? Oh. Interesting. Oh. Whoa, this is a creepy and cool start, man. I don't know that we've ever seen Infernals in Adola before, have we? Someone's struggling. We have Charon, so does that mean it's, I didn't get any of the bad guys' names written down. Haumea. Yeah. I hate that Charon's a bad guy. I love him so much. Fire Force. Chapter 3. Episode 1. Indomitable Resolve. That person inside there sure is kicking. If there is one. Tabernacle tease that. Solar year 198. There's our boy, Shinra. Oh, I didn't write his name down either. I mean, Arthur is pretty easy to remember, though. Especially because of his theme. Vulcan. Yeah. Oh, right, yeah. Lisa's around, too, now. Hinawa Takehisa. We're gonna get, like, a little bit of a recappy first episode, maybe. The Tabernacle. Yeah. Tamaki. Best girl in the show, Maki! Yes! If you can't tell, I like Maki. And she needs to stop talking so down on herself because she is a beautiful, strong girl. And she can crush me with her thighs as many times as she wants. I've watched too much anime since the last time I watched Fire Force. I'm so much more accepting. I judge the show so harshly. Well, not harshly, but Victor licked. Uh, but I wasn't a big fan of the fan service, and I'm still not the big fan of fan service in anime, but I've just gotten so used to it that I've just accepted it rather than complaining about it. Jeez. Yeah. Hell yeah. No destruction for you bastards. Oh my god! So, the lucky lechery lure is still active. I thought I thought Victor was recording it. Like, oh, shit. Shinra Kusakabe. Arthur Boyle. Obi. Alright. I like this guy, but I have healthy skepticism. Just government officials worry me sometimes. Like, ah, yes, Obi, you are working right into the palm of our hand. Uh oh. What is this about? We're here to arrest Obi. What? The man and oh no, white clad. What? Why are they're not with the soldiers? Are they? Hmm. Like that classic thing where like two people like punch each other, but instead it's just freaking Tamaki. uh, but it's just Shinra's foot instead of his fist. The button! She loves pressing buttons. Latom! He knows just right away. What does he make? Oh my god. Titties. Oh my god, bringing up assault. Oh my god. That fight was important enough that they had to recap it. That's so funny. Hmm. Freaking Arthur. Huh? Huh? Alright. Let's go save our boss. We rolling out? Okay. This is who I thought was walking in the room. I thought the Pope was showing up. Thought it was gonna be like a big deal going on or something. Raffles. Oh, the boy. That's right, Leonard Burns. I didn't get all the names totally memorized. It was, even though I like binged rewatched, it was hard to get everything memorized. Oh shit, is this Hamea? I know those. I'm just kidding. Man, are they making their move episode 1? React. Oh shit. Wow, that's a lot. Oh my god, there's so many of them. What? I thought they were attacking. Are they controlling Raffles with Hamea? Or has he been in on it the whole time? I mean, the original Raffles was in on it, so it makes sense that this one might be. Hmm. They're one of the more religious Fire Force groups. Divisions. Hmm. That's cool. Just trying to use what he's thinking in his mind to navigate the conversation. Damn. Hmm. Ooh. Just a bunch of confusion. The true state of this world is interesting. Right, we knew that. But why do you want it to be a son? Is he getting, like, subtly manipulated by Homea's power? I can't imagine Burns in his right mind would do this. But conversion. Jeez. That is not good. But why? Yeah. Man, and here we thought we were gonna have, like, the whole Empire on our side, and now suddenly the whole Empire is pretty much not on our side. Draw. Mm-hmm. Oh, rescue team. Shit. Alright. Yeah, of course we are. Yeah. Yeah, and family in the military. Okay, she's in. Hmm. Like, they're all like baby birds waiting to be fed. What about Benny Maru? He has no problems attacking the entire empire. We have some allies that don't care. Shit. Right when we talked about having them all on our side. Oh shit, here we go. Is this the outro, or is this what's going to be the intro? So far, the song has outro energy. Oh. That's the second time we've got a glimpse at, like, a theoretical what the eyes of the evangelist look like. Once in Burns's, like, mind, and then once there. Oh, who's that guy? He looks crazy. Benimaru versus Charon. Shit. Oh my god. I don't know how many scenes we're actually gonna see, but frickin' Obi breaking out of his own chains is frickin' badass. That potentially, the visuals have opening energy, but the ending has kind of like a chill outro kind of feeling, so. Because normally openings have more hype. Oh, we have after credits. What we got? Hameo and Burns. Hmm. Wait, what? Interesting. No! We must stop that shit. To be continued. Wait, what is this now? Okay, so maybe that was the opening, and now these are what the credits are gonna be. Oh, this is kinda cool, though. That opening song was good, but I kinda like this, what I assume is gonna be an outro song. Oh shit. That's a pretty cool song. I want to go back and look at. I'm just waiting till this fully ends. But I want to go back and see the exact wording on what they said in regards to Obi and Shinra's Adola Burst. Okay. Think next time. I'm not watching next time. So that is it, guys, for episode 1 of season 3. That was a great start. I feel like anime that's coming out has found a good formula of, like, not doing full episode 1 recaps because they're a little bit much, and doing more of like a little bit of recap, but then actually giving us some new stuff in the episodes, and I appreciate that. I'm not totally against a full recap episode as the first one, but typically I tend to try to recap myself, so since I just watched the first 2 seasons, It was nice to get some of the names that I had missed because I made a list right before the show started, or right before I started recording, just to help myself out in case my memory failed me. So I had Shiro, Sho, Obi, Hinawa Takahisa, Tamaki, Iris, Benimaru, Maki, and Hibana. That was all the names that I got down. But there were some other important ones like Vulcan and Lisa, who are kind of like in our main crew that I wrote down. And then there's some from other places, like Burns is a big player, and I kind of forgot. Like, if I would have thought a little more, I would have remembered his name, because like I said, I just watched it. But it wasn't in, like, the forefront of my mind, so I'm glad I have that written down now, too. There are definitely other names that I don't have here that, I also didn't even mention Arthur there just because, one, it's kind of bad of me. I did kind of forget about Arthur when I was making this list of names. I was just kind of like rushing it down so I can get started because I don't have like a ton of time here, but for tonight. But anyway, yeah. So let's go back real fast to that line. Um. So Obi will be the bait that lures the fourth pillar to us. And he had a role in the development of Shinra's Adola Burst. Okay, so my guess is what she means by that is Shinra worked with Obi, and because of Shinra being a part of Obi's group, Shinra grew and got stronger. And that's what she means by the development of his Adola Burst. When I first skimmed it, my mind first went to, like, did Obi have a hand in Shinra acquiring his Adola Burst to begin with? And it made me just think, like, with Shinra's whole backstory with his mom and what happened with Sho in the burning house of the past, what were they trying to hint at Obi having something to do with that? I don't think so. I think they're just being like, oh, we have to thank him for taking care of Shinra for us, this whole time. I think it's basically what they mean. So, okay. But yeah, aside from the recappy bits, which my favorite part of the recappy bits is the fact that they felt they need to recap that assault moment, which is just hilarious because I gotta say, I'm not the biggest fan of fan service. I've stated this in a lot of my shows most of the time because anime characters are, a lot of people like to use the excuse of like, oh, well, you don't know their exact age, but half the time they're high school characters, right? Or characters in high school. That alone is enough for me to be like, I don't want to, like, it's awkward for me as a 32-year-old man to see them naked, Obviously it's not full nudity, but just sexualizing the young is a weird thing in anime that's been around for a long time. But I've gotten to the point where I've just kind of accepted it. I try not to get, like, too angry at it anymore. I still don't want to watch, like, a full fan service anime anymore. Like, I'm just, like, I've watched some, but like, every now and then some come out that have, like, the eki genre. I might have said that wrong. It's, like, ECCHI or something, or it's something like that. It's whatever that genre is considered. Yeah, I've learned to avoid that because it pretty much always has excessive fan service. I think that's essentially what that tag means. It probably has a better description than that, but anyway, where was I going with that? Oh, the assault moment I feel like was it it was a fun enough moment where it wasn't just about the fan service. It was because, like, sometimes they show, like, the girls having a conversation in the shower, and it's like, why do we have to have this conversation in the shower and not somewhere else? It's because the show just wants to show this, right? But Tamaki, with her lucky lechery lure, being an aspect of her character, like, that she can't help and stuff like that, makes me accept it a little bit more. And then the whole moment with Assault in the last season was just amazing. I watched it again when I was rewatching, and oh my god, it's so funny. Just Assault's mission to go watch porn, to go to strip clubs, to do as much as he can to desensitize himself to the idea of seeing Tamaki's Lucky Lechery Lure in action right in front of his face, and no matter what he did, it didn't work, and he had to go like train in more extreme ways and stuff like that. But the man just couldn't do it. So it was such an amazing little arc for Assault's character. I absolutely loved it, and I love that they respected it enough that they're like, yeah, like if we're gonna recap stuff, we're gonna make sure we hit that. I bet there's something I'm not good at like pattern recognition and stuff, but like so I'm not good at trying to figure out what they left out of the recap versus what they showed. But I bet there was something relatively important that they left out of that recap that was at least a little bit more important than that assault thing, but they just had to put that assault thing in. I love it. I do. It's awesome. So, anyway, as for what happened that's like new in this episode, we have for some reason, I say for some reason, we have like it dates back, but Raffles, the Pope guy, I don't remember which number of Raffles he is. But he is working with the evangelist in the White Clad, I guess. I don't know if he was mind controlled by Haumea. We had Haumea doing some like she was just in that room like moaning the whole time. Not that kind of moaning, but like grunting, not like the sexy kind, but like it was like she was straining herself doing something. Was that her trying to like gain control of like the Pope and his people? Or is it just that the Pope is on their side? Now, we do have the whole history where Raffles was actually Yona that like came Yona like took Raffles' place and then returned here like to his wife and with the Adola burst, and then they created Amaterasu and all that. So like maybe ever since then, the Pope has just been on their side. But yeah, and now we have Burns, which seems, once again, I feel like that was definitely more than just her using her words wisely, right? I feel like there was a bit of her mind control-y power, and there were some little zaps there, and then she smiles as she's like getting control, so I'm pretty sure her plasma power was used to control Burns. Now, I wonder, we saw Burns, but we didn't see the rest of the crew. I wonder, did the rest of the crew accept it as much as Burns? Because we had, I can't remember his name, I apologize, but the guy that uses music to turn fire to ice. Oh, I feel like it's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember. Either way, I have so much to talk about, I'm just going to move on from his name, because I probably won't think of it. Anyway, he kind of was more on our side, even more so. Like, I felt like Burns was kind of on our side as well, especially after what happened with Benimaru and Joker and everything. But even more so with the ice guy. So I wonder if he wasn't as swayed and will he join up with us and mention what happened to Burns? Or is he just part of their group now? I'm not sure. So, but yeah, so that happened. They're taking control, basically, just as we thought. We had, we got all these different companies and everything, and that make up the Tokyo Empire on our side in the last season, in season 2. Well, basically all through season 1 and 2, we built up our relationships with so many different groups and everything, and now it seems like a lot of it is crumbling. I wonder, now that the church is gonna be against us and our characters are gonna be rebels, that whole thing of getting Haijima on our side, are they still gonna be on our side? Or are they gonna say, like, screw you now, too? Because, like, it almost feels like this is, like, collapsing all the framework of what was built over the course of season 1 and 2. And in season 3, they're just like, throw it all out the window. I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe they will still come in clutch. Maybe a lot of our connections that we made will still come in handy. we'll have to see. But yeah, Obi being captured, they want to use a bug on him, which I wonder how he'd be, because we've seen really strong people get turned into bugs and be really strong infernals. Don't get me wrong, I don't want this to happen. Please do not bug Obi. But if he were to be bugged, like, he doesn't have... A lot of the people that were strong, though, had pyrokinetic powers. And he doesn't, but he's just jacked and works out a lot. So would he just be like a pretty strong infernal? Like, does it have to do with more like work ethic and stuff like that rather than your base powers as a person? I don't know, but it'd be interesting. But hopefully we never come to that. Hopefully we have him, like that opening bit or whatever, that we saw at the end, him breaking out of the chains and stuff like that. We'll have to see. So, anyway, yeah, I mean, I'm just pumped to talk more because during the intro, I didn't want to say too much, but to talk more about things in regards to this show, I'm just really curious about the mystery. Like, the fight animation, there have been some fights that have, like, very good animation and everything. Other times, they're, like... It's one of those shows where it's, like, not every fight goes hard, but some fights go hard. And it's fun when that comes in, and it's, like... The fighting hasn't been my favorite aspect of Fire Force, and that's perfectly fine. For me, the biggest thing is the story. Like, I want to know how this happened in the beginning. Like, I hope we get answers of, like, why all of this just came to be. Like, they keep talking about these like spatial rifts and stuff like that. Did one of those open and that's what like originally burnt the world, like the Great Cataclysm? What was the cause of it? And stuff like that. It's just who is inside the Amaterasu? If it is a person, are they still sentient? Is it, I had my theories that it might have been the evangelist that is in there. I know one of my theories a long time ago with that was they're not actually trying to create a new sun. Maybe that's what they used to convince the followers of the sun god and everything, but it almost feels like maybe someone nefariously locked away the evangelist in there in order, well, not nefariously, but did it against the evangelist to try to save what's left of the human race. And now the evangelist is trying to manipulate the white-clad people into releasing her, so that way she can run amok again. It kind of feels that way to me, but I don't know. So, we'll have to see. Other than that, we have that other pillar chick that we've never seen in person. We've only seen her show up in the minds of people. And so, like, what is she? Could she be the one that's in Amaterasu? I thought about that as well. But the fact that it seems like weird that she'd be a pillar if that was the case. So, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But those are some of the questions. And I think there's a lot of other there's so many other mysteries. And I love shows like when we went to go see the Tabernacle, where it, like, managed to preserve some of, like, the previous world where we saw, like, the stoplights and the cars from before the Great Cataclysm kind of preserved there. And I thought that's, like, really neat. That was one of my favorite parts about Shannara Chronicles that made me always want to know more about it, was when they're walking through the woods and you just see old of Artek. It's always interesting to see, like, post-apocalyptic shows, but they're, like, so much post our world that almost everything from our world is gone. Like imagine Walking Dead in like what that world could potentially be like in like 500 years or something. Like, that universe could be really interesting in that, or maybe even more than that, if something caused like a lot of like the buildings and everything to just erode and collapse and stuff like that, and it's more of like, and humanity wasn't able to, like, they've rebuilt, but they rebuilt in slightly different ways, their engineering and their architecture and stuff are slightly different. Some of it's the same, but some of it's different than what we had before. It would just be really like I'm always interested in how that works and how it comes to be, and like how much knowledge is actually forgotten from the old world. So those kind of story concepts have always been interesting. So when we got to that tabernacle arc, I was like, I don't even know if that's the name of the arc. Sorry guys, that's just what I'm calling it. But that was like a really awesome awesome part to see. So yeah, I have a lot of questions, and I hope we get some answers. And how does like all this tie into like the? I'm guessing we're like once we start getting answers, we're gonna realize like, oh, this is probably why people are being born with powers and stuff like that. Like I said, I hope we get the answers, and it's not just like vague shit where it's like, oh, yeah, well, maybe you can assume that something might have happened, you know? And it's like, no, tell me what happened. There's a lot of shows that do that vague stuff, and sometimes it works for me, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't want you to create a story where I have to try to think of the answer for you, you know? It's like, tell me what the answer is so I can understand it and process it and stuff like that. But yeah, so hopefully we get some answers. This was a, recappy first episode, but also things are moving. We have Obi captured. We're turning traitor to rescue him and doing what needs to be done, which is also a trap by the White Clad. Burns is turned. So where do we go from here? Other than just storming in and trying to save our boy Obi. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. I think that's going to be it from me. Hopefully you guys enjoy. We'll talk more about the story and stuff as this goes on. And I'm actually curious how many episodes is going to be, because the other two seasons were 24. Is this also 24? I didn't actually go and check, so that'll be something that I look into at some point as well. I kind of hope it's 24, because from what it sounds like, they have a lot to show. And if they have a lot to show in only 12, that's pretty crazy. I've been so bad about keeping up with these shows having breaks in the middle of their seasons. I need to make sure I check to see if this one has a part 1 and part 2, where we're going to be splitting the season into 2. And even if it doesn't have that on Mal, I just need to try to figure it out. So that way I know, because I keep running into the situation where I'm not ready for it to end. We hit episode like 12 or 13 or whatever, and then all of a sudden it ends, and then I'm like, oh shit, I need to figure out what I'm watching next. And sometimes that means I don't have enough time for a poll to let you guys vote for what's next. Which sometimes I do polls if basically this is an airing show slot, as I mentioned. So it's a slot where I always watch a show that is currently airing, and then when it ends, I either pick a sequel that is gonna start, like if the last season of My Hero starts, or a sequel to something that I really enjoyed that I did reactions to, I'll choose to just watch that. But other times, if there isn't any sequels or anything, then I usually do a poll and let you guys decide what gets voted on. So those happen over at my Patreon, so you guys can check that out if you're interested. There actually is one going on right now, and it might have like 2 days left. If you go to my Patreon and scroll down quite a bit, there you'll see a poll there voting for not an airing show, but it's actually just voting for the next show that's going to replace Delicious in Dungeon. So whatever wins that poll replaces Delicious in Dungeon. And then because I made a mistake with Dr. Stone having the 2-part thing that I was just talking about, second place winner is going to replace Dr. Stone, because I made that mistake. So yeah, that's going to be it for me though, guys. Like I said, Patreon, you can get early access to my other content. Not for this one, because I watch it as it airs. 2 episodes ahead on there through the early access tier. The Patreon show tier has shows like all of Freerun, all of Solo Leveling, Season 1 and 2. I take that back. I think it's almost got all of Season 2. I think there might be like 2 more episodes to release, even though I've already finished watching it, because I'm slightly ahead for that at the moment due to me wanting some time off. But anyway, check that out through the Patreon show tier. You can get access to those shows that aren't even released to YouTube yet. And there's also live action shows on there too. So links in the description should be popping up on the screen, and I will see you guys in my future reactions. Bye-bye.